U.S. President Donald Trump has given his first address to a joint session of Congress since he took office for the second time earlier. Many anticipated his policy priorities. Right now, we have VOA's Chris Casquejo joining us live from Capitol Hill for his report. Hello, Chris.
Hi, good to be with you.
Hi, Chris. It's good to have you here on TVRI World for our very brief dialogue right here. Chris, President Trump's first congressional address of his second term laid out his policy priorities for this year. Can you tell us what were the key themes of his speech and how does it reflect his administration border strategy moving forward?
Right, the president spoke for an hour and 39 minutes, the longest speech from a president to a joint session of Congress. He said his administration has accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations have accomplished in 4 or 8 years. To date, Trump has signed 80 executive orders, several of which are being challenged in court. Now, immigration was a main theme. Early in his speech, Trump touted his declaration of a national emergency at the U.S.-Mexico border and deployment of the U.S. military and border patrol to, in his words, repel the invasion of our country. He said his administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history. On another topic, the reductions in the federal government and layoffs of thousands of government workers, he said that the effort led by billionaire Elon Musk, whose Department of Government Efficiency has been behind the layoffs of tens of thousands of government workers and other cuts throughout the federal government, was necessary. And he even singled out Elon Musk by name and pointed him out. But the main message of this really long joint address to Congress, and the first one of Trump's second term, was that he's going to do things his way. And he should have success, at least early on, in getting his agenda passed, as Republicans have control of Congress.
Now, Chris, several Democratic lawmakers boycotted this speech. Others even walked out during Trump's speech. Explain to us how deep is the current political divide right there in Washington, and how would this then affect the administration's ability to push its policies through Congress?
Right. So just a few minutes into his speech, Trump was interrupted by jeering from the floor of the House, which prompted House Speaker Mike Johnson to direct the Sergeant at Arms to remove Democratic Representative Al Green of Texas. Trump continued his address after Green was escorted out of the chambers. Several Democratic lawmakers walked out in the middle of Trump's speech. Others skipped the speech entirely. Now, in the Democratic response to Trump's speech, Michigan Senator Elisa Slotkin called for voters to get more involved with politics. She said, "It's easy to be exhausted, but America needs you now more than ever. If previous generations had not fought for this democracy, where would we be today?" Now, a March 14th deadline looms to avoid a partial government shutdown. Democrats have vowed to fight proposed deep cuts to Medicare and Medicaid, government-funded health insurance for the elderly and poor, which is in the GOP's proposed legislation. And it's going to be very tough for this to get through because the GOP only has a one-vote cushion in the House.
Right. And also, one of the most anticipated topics is, of course, Trump's stance on Ukraine. Tell us, what did President Trump say about Ukraine?
Towards the end of his speech, President Trump said he received a letter from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Tuesday that said Kyiv is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible. And Trump also went on to say that, "I appreciate that he sent this letter." Of the war in Ukraine, Trump said, "It's time to stop this madness. It's time to halt the killing. It's time to end the senseless war." So it appears that the prospects for a end of the war are at least a little bit better than they were on Friday when there was that breakdown in diplomatic talks in front of cameras in the Oval Office.
Right, at least that's what we expect from these very high politicians right there. Thank you so much, Chris Cascuejo, VOA correspondent. Certainly there are a lot of points from that speech right there, but thank you for wrapping it up nicely for us on TVRI World. See you again next time.
Yeah, good to be with you. Bye.
Thank you.